Alright, so now we're going to be covering base meshes and subtools and z-spheres and all that other stuff. So I'm going to try to stay away from sculpting large meshes in front of you for very long periods of time because I think that's been overdone so many times. The best, and here's some advice. I would say the best thing about or how to learn ZBrush is practice. You could watch videos all day long about people that really know anatomy. They got good structure down pat, how to use the tools just a little bit. But if you're sitting there watching like a 6 hour video about some guy sculpting in a very high paced video, the only thing that you're going to get out of that is the fact that that artist is a lot better than you. And that's not where you want to be. Where you want to be is you have to almost start from scratch as far as learning. Let's say you're a traditional artist. A traditional artist, I would say, hey, you're right up there. Don't worry about a thing. Just jump into ZBrush, and now all you do is have to figure out how to adapt line work to molding on a mesh. No problem, because you already know where the muscles are, you know where the cheekbones are, you know where all that good stuff is. Now, if you're not an artist whatsoever and you jump into ZBrush, you have a large learning curve ahead of you, so don't get discouraged when you see something on the internet or pixelogic.com and it has like all this amazing anatomy and all these little tiny tools, and those artists have been doing this for a very long time. So, start out small. Start out noses, start out ears, start out using that squircle ball that I showed you, and work your way up from it. Go onto the forums, kind of look at how they did a certain edge or a trick, or how they treat cheekbones against the other meshes. Kind of look at styles, how they do styles. Don't worry about perfect anatomy right off the bat. Worry more about how to change forms off and on, and make some monsters and goofy stuff just to get confident at it. Alright, so base meshes are very important because without them, you really are just kind of sculpting on, you're going to get very super frustrated about how things bend out without them. So as you can see, this is one of those squircle things that I worked out. And you can see even at the lowest res, using polyframe here, you can see that these are starting to flow around that eye socket, and they keep going up and up, and they'll match up with all the other levels. And you can see I kept good form on the ball. I kind of try to do that as much as I can. And when it comes down to learning the body and how it works, that's where we're starting to get into different kinds of base meshes. So right here, this was made out of z-spheres, and if I hit A, you can see that. So we're going to have to start getting into the base mesh and how to lay that out. So when you look at it, how does it flow all the way down, and make sure that it flows in a nice direction as far as uniformity to be able to handle stuff at a different resolution later on where you're not fighting the mesh as you're sculpting. And usually when I develop a character all the way, let's say I got the character's head, I got his body, this one, and this one, and I don't need that one. Let's see, I don't need this one. There we go. So once you get this overall large mesh done, and I'm still developing him, then I would probably start using a topology tools to actually stitch him back together, and that would make a nicer mesh that way. So don't worry, it's all about clumping clay together and having fun with it. It's nothing about getting the overall mesh. Sure, you could probably sculpt the head out of this little stump thing right here and still get good form. You just have to put another z-sphere in there. What I'm going to be covering in the next few videos is the overall how to get good res on this, good uniformity, and when I get down to stuff like this, how do I get shapes like this using Z-spheres? I mean, really, because this has to do with a lot of different resolutions all put together. Alright, so that's the introduction to the next few videos, and enjoy.